Hi guys, I'm Dave and welcome to the Weird Kids Show. It's awesome having you here. Do you remember this guy? This was a real popular video for me. I did a tutorial on how you can take a dollar store skull, dollar store Bubba teeth, some corpsing, paint, Sculpey eyeballs, and glass cabochons. I was able to make this for next to nothing. And like I said, people seem to respond very well with that video. So I'm going to expand on that. And I thought, why not make a creepy doll using this head on this body? Okay? Now I've had this for a while. I just haven't done anything with it. One of the things that I noticed when I bought it, when I got home, was that the fingers were chewed on. Maybe the pet dog had gotten to it or whatever, but that's okay because we're going to incorporate that into this build. I got this at Goodwill. It was only $2.99. Big sturdy doll. And what I love is the coveralls, and with this guy here, I think it's going to fit perfectly. So we're going to dirty this up. We're going to turn this. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this. So this will be another cheap build for you, and it's super easy, cheap, and fun. So let's get into it, shall we? Again, thank you for being here. Alright guys, so the first thing I'm going to need to do, obviously, is take these clothes off so that we can start working on this body. What I plan to do is to cut the head off along the neckline to save the neck post, because that's what we're going to attach this head onto with glue, and then we're going to go back and match the corpsing and everything else. But I'm not going to go too far. Let's do that first. See you in a second. Okay guys, so I took the doll, took the clothes off, and then I cut the head off. Okay, I'm going to keep this. You should keep it too, because you never know. It might come in handy for another project down the road. We could corpse this. We could change the eyes. There's a lot of things that we could do with this. So I'm going to keep this. And I'm also going to keep the hair that I ripped off. That could come in handy too for something else. So we're going to throw that aside because we're not going to use that for this tutorial. All we need is the body, our dollar store corpsed head, and we got the clothes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this head onto this body, and then I'm going to corpse the neckline and paint it to match this. I'm also going to corpse the arms and legs and paint them and dry brush them to match this. Okay, then we're going to deal with the clothes after that, but first we're going to deal with this body. All right, the beauty part is, like I said, somebody chewed on these toes. That's going to be okay, because we're going to fill these in and we're going to bloody them up like it was deliberate. Maybe now this thing got exposed or stuck its hand in a wood chip, or who knows, you know. We're going to work that into this prop. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're going to come back and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I put some super glue around the post of the neck and got it on there and held it until it cured. And then I filled in around with some hot glue, and then I put some hot glue between where the head meets the neck to make sure it gets a good bond. And then I went and wrapped the plastic around there, and then put the heat gun on it to give it the good shrink corpsing effect. And then I went back through and I touched up and put some more hot glue around there to make sure that this thing's on there secure. We don't want it popping off. Then I took plastic and wrapped the legs and arms and shrink wrapped them, did the corpsing, and then I went and sprayed it a flat black to act as my primer. Okay, so this is what it's starting to look like. It's starting to come together, isn't it? Super easy. You guys can do this, I'm telling you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and paint this thing the same paint scheme. The neck, the arms, the legs, it's going to have this same color scheme. And then we're going to come back so you can take a look at it. And then we're going to deal with them clothes and then see what else we can come up with. So hang tight. We're going to come back here in a second. Okay guys, so it's all painted. What I did was I took my go-to, I've shared this with you in the past. The base was burnt umber. I love this stuff. It's a good earthy tone, good for a base coat for any kind of zombie looking figure or doll or prop or whatever. And then I used Kelly. It's called Kelly Green. This is made by Apple Barrel. It's an acrylic. Both products are Apple Barrel products. And then with the Kelly Green, I dry brushed it. Okay, and then once that's given a chance to dry, I mixed some white in with the Kelly Green and did another dry brushing. And then I always like to put in a little bit more white and then just do a real light dusting here and there just to make it pop. Okay, so he is coming together. All right, so he's ready for clothes. However, I don't think he'd look too intimidating in a pink shirt, do you? And these coveralls, although they're perfect for who he is, I don't think that little pink heart's gonna cut it. Okay, so what do? How do we fix this situation? Excuse me one second. I'm just gotta take a drink of coffee. Hazelnut. So coffee is great for waking up in the morning, but it also is great for weathering and staining, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to use this coffee. The other thing that I'm going to do is with my Dremel tool, I am going to take a bit like this. I also have some bits that are that have like little drums with little sandpaper on it, and I'm going to go ahead and distress this, put maybe little frays and holes in it. I'm going to do away with let's see, what's that say, my twin and the little heart on the front. Okay, so we're going to grimy these up. I'm going to tell you what I did after I get these all done. The shirt. Now, if you're Keith from Cobwebs and Candlesticks, he swears by Rit dye. I don't have any Rit dye, but I know something else that'll work too. And we're going to get into that here in a second. So let me work on these clothes. We're going to come back. This will be done and dressed. We might do one or two little extra things apart from that, but let's deal with these clothes first. Come check back here in a second. Alright guys, there we have it. So what I did was, I didn't have Rit dye, but you know what, I've done this before and it takes a while to do, but it works. And then as I took black spray paint and just spray painted the shirt, I stuffed plastic bags inside of it to keep its shape, and I just blasted it with black spray paint and then allowed it to dry. And then what I did was I did a dry brush of some gray on it, and then I stuck some of my concoction, my version of permablood, which is the Mod Podge and Halloween blood. The coveralls, I cut off that heart and I frayed all the edges, and I took some scissors and hacked away at the bottom, and then took some sandpaper to it. I took the bit from the Dremel, weathered the whole thing, put that coffee on it so it smells like hazelnut, which is good. And then I just took it and threw it in the dirt and kicked it around and just dirtied it up. Okay, so this is a zombie guy, hillbilly kind of zombie, if you will. That's the way he reminds me with the coveralls and everything else. And then I took, like I said, I took my perma blood and I used it on his hands where the fingers were missing, where the toes were missing, and just filled in little spots here and there. And like I've said before, where you see it still looks pink, it's because the Mod Podge hasn't dried yet. Once it dries, it will look like this, like wet blood. And I put some blood around his mouth. But you know what's missing, I think? Hair. Maybe a beard. And so I had this piece here. What you can do is, we go to Goodwill for around $5. You can find these wigs. When you buy them, you can cut them up and use them for multiple projects. Here is a wig that I'd already cut up, and what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to give him some hair. I just threw that on there. That's not exactly how it's going to be. And then I might even cut some off there and give him a little mountain man beard. What do you guys think? So I'm going to work on that next, and when we come back, we'll see where we're at. I think he's about done though. Maybe we can add a little element here or there, but I think on the most part he's done. So check back here in a second. Alright guys, welcome back, and here we've got Jethro. I finished him off, and as you can see, I glued the piece of wig on there, and then I gave him some a little goatee here, just using spare cut off pieces of wig. This was a super cheap project. You know, I did a tutorial on the head, and now you've got the tutorial on doing the body, and if you really think about it, this costs next to nothing. And there's millions of combinations of what you could do. So get out there to those Goodwills or thrift stores and buy up them used baby dolls, and then follow my tutorial on corpsing and making you a head using dollar store junk, and let me see what you come up with. One of the final things I think I'm gonna do is I have this little heart here, and what I think I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna glue that in his hand, so he has a little something in his hand to just give him a little accessory. After all, he is a zombie, and so he's got to have something to eat. We don't want him to go hungry. This guy, if you're interested, is going to go on eBay. So if you ever wanted a chance to own one of your own weird kid props, I'm going to provide the link down below to where you can go and bid on him. 100% of the money is going to get turned over to Vic Springston for his nonprofit organization to help veterans. So please be generous, help out the veterans. So I appreciate all of you. If you haven't done so already, like and subscribe, hit the bell. It's going to inform you when I upload another video. And like I always say, there's so much to come. There's never-ending prop ideas in my head, so there's going to be a lot to come. And if you haven't done so, go check out my Brothers in Arms, the Trio of Terror, which is myself, Vic Springston, and Keith from Cobwebs and Candlesticks. So until next time, everybody, I appreciate you. Peace.